Baltimore at the New York Giants. The New York Giants are now 15-point underdogs.
Crazy.
The Ravens coming off the bye. I will tell you that yesterday afternoon, after Cincy, Tennessee, Washington, New Orleans, Jets, and Jaguars, I actually was thinking to myself, I would just love it if all of these teams had a bye. Like if we didn't have to research them, talk about them.
Uh,
15 points in the NFL is to me the equivalent of 25 or 30 points in college football. Like
mm.
that's how big it is. It's rare. Maybe Evan can figure this out while we're on the call and you can throw it in the chat. Like how many times has there been a 15-point favorite in the past 15 years? It's going to be the Patriots a bunch of times against the Dolphins at, the mid 2010s. But this is what happens when Drew Luck starts 0-8, goes 21 of 49, completes 43% of his passes. And even most of those come like in the final two drives when the Giants are on their way to winning, maybe at least covering as one of us expected them to do. What is your true power rating for this game?
It's right. Like I had it at 14 and a half.
You
The
did.
bump up to 15 now is it that makes sense to me. Like if the books moved this up to 17, I would still be tempted honestly to take the Ravens just because what you just talked about. Drew Lock is maybe one of the worst quarterbacks I've watched. And we've seen a lot of bad quarterback play. I mean, at one point he had started that game, I think 0 for 9 or like 0 for 10 against the
0 for
Saints.
8. He started 0 for 8.
0 for 8. Yes. So oh man, this is just a Ravens team that we think are pretty good coming off a bye week after a really bad loss to Philadelphia. Like you would expect Lamar to put up his classic 4 touchdowns. Like I can already see Stuckey being like Ravens first half, take that number, whatever the line is, because that's this kind of spot for this Ravens team to come out and just whoop this team. They haven't had too many blowouts this year, right? That could be the hesitation that maybe we're overrating this Ravens team. They're not the Ravens team of the past that would just roll and blow out these teams, but
Well, they can't. They can't stop the pass. That's kind of my fear on this is the Giants are down 3 touchdowns and there's 2 minutes left in the game. And Drew Lock just starts fearlessly uncorking. And instead of all those balls going incomplete or being intercepted, 4 of them are caught and they score with 30 seconds left and
yeah,
bang open the back door because the Ravens defense is just so bad against the pass, like truly terrible, one of the worst in the league. So that's like the fear here. You're
and I
guarding
agree with
against
that.
that.
That's what I was gonna say. Like we've only really seen it because they've had a really hard schedule. And if you look at the Ravens schedule, there's a reason I like their under, but they're probably gonna end up hitting this over. They're probably gonna get the over 10 and a half. But just because I looked at their schedule, I thought, man, this is a really tough schedule. We've seen this year that I mean, their only really blowout win, Chad, is against Denver. They beat them like 41-9 or 41-10. And that was a game we talked about. Like they were going for it on fourth downs, and they just didn't bounce their way for Denver and Bo Nix, right? That probably would have been a little closer if some things had come through. But it's like this is we've seen now that the Ravens can blow out certain teams in certain matchups. So for us, I don't know if this is going to make our contest because we've played big lines like this, but it was literally Detroit at home against inferior teams when Detroit was healthy. Like Detroit's the class of the class of football right now. We don't really have that same view of this team, and I
Yeah.
agree with your statement of that's the fear is the back door. So it's a type of bet that if you make, you're going to need them to be up 28 points heading into the fourth quarter. This
Yes.
Ravens team, and if not, you're going to be sweating this bet to the very end.
15 plus point favorites. This is how good Evan Abrams is, and everyone should tell him that when we're at the Wicked Wolf on Thursday night. Everyone tells Evan he's amazing. Everyone asks Matt Mitchell why he's a Grinch. Don't forget, those are the two assignments. 2023, it happened 4 times. 15-point favorites were 2-2 against the spread. 2022, it happened 3 times. The favorites were 0-3. 21, it happened 7 times,
Wow.
8 times, and the favorites were 4-3-1. This is the first time there is a 15 plus point favorite on the road since 2021. That was the Buffalo Bills, who lost the game against Jacksonville. So, you know, we got that as a reference point. I will say, when I do the some of the research on Mondays, I'll go to NFL Next Gen Stats, which anybody can go to, NFL.com. You just got to pay like $75 and get access for everything. They will list 24 different head-to-head metrics for offense and defense, rushing and passing when teams play each other. Of the 24 listed, the Ravens, and then they sort of grade it. Is it like a 5-star advantage, meaning it's overwhelmingly in favor of one unit versus the other, or a 1-star where it's a slight favorite? Between a 1-star and 5-star advantage, the Ravens had it for every single category except for one: intermediate passing. The Giants are 19th, the Ravens are 29th. So I know like the Giants is with multiple quarterbacks, but that's what made me think Giants are going to be down, dink and dunk 15, 20 yards down the field, and they score a touchdown because that's the one thing the Ravens are worst at.
Yeah.
Irrational fear, Simon.